And to me, this is, I guess, one of the reasons that I don't know, I've stayed natural is just because I have too many questions. And
Mm,
a natural advanced athlete is almost like having someone with like really bad genetics, only they actually adhere to the plan, right?
mm,
So that's why I enjoy working on my own canvas so much. And whenever I have the privilege of working with other advanced athletes, I'm like, oh, we're going to learn so many things here that are going to be helpful when it comes to helping, say, less gifted or even less committed and gifted
yeah.
populations.
Do you think that, like, let's say in the future, you, you're now mid 40s, you're noticing some general fatigue and whatnot, you get your testosterone checked, you got low testosterone. Do you think that you'd actually almost fight the medical recommendation to go on TRT because it could skew some of this? I mean, I think both of you probably have a strong um, connection to being a natural athlete. Do you think that even if it was medically recommended because of all these reasons you're talking about, you'd kind of fight against it?
I've thought about this simply because, well, I don't like to be closed-minded. Like, I hate to say, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. Um, I think in that scenario, the way it plays out in my mind is the doctor tells me, he's like, bro, you're like running on 150.
Yeah.
And, what we need to do is, this is what I recommend. I think I am so stubborn. And plus there's like the skill set part that like I probably come out of that office like telling him, I'll show you who's got low testosterone. I'll see you in 4 months, buddy. And I'm going to do all these things because that is something you see with, um, older guys that go get checked and they've spent the last 2 decades like not taking care of themselves, but here they
Mm,
are giving grief to like those SARMs goblins about like not being patient. It's like, bro, you haven't taken care of your body like for 22 years.
mm,
Like, could you give this like a good 3 year like you don't deserve like overnight like good blood
right.
work and all these muscles. It doesn't work that way. So I would probably do what I can to try to figure that out first. Um, and but also at the same time, there's something with like just letting yourself like decay and age. Like that's
Mm,
just part of the process, right? And I know that like virtually right now, I'm going to be 41 in March. Um, like in terms of like recovery, hormone status, energy, drive, all that, it feels no different than like when I was 20. The only difference is that like I guess I'm better at funneling that energy where it needs to go.
mm.
But I think that's because it was the inverse of that example I made with those guys. It's like, they didn't take care of themselves for decades. And I think that's why I'm here. But yeah, I don't think if I did it, I feel like I put in my time, right? And it's like, okay, like I took this pretty far, but I just don't see that happening because I think I would almost like to face that challenge and be like, all right, my body is different now. Like something happened at
Mm.
50. And I think I can learn a lot from trying to work with this new system, as downgraded as it might be. And I can be of use to others as well, who better use to others who might be dealing with something similar. So I guess I want to rock this thing till the wheels fall off, basically. That's where I'm at now, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Just curious, have you ever had your testosterone levels checked?
Yeah, yeah. It was like 550.
Yeah, pretty normal.
Yeah, but
Um,
all the most jack guys I've seen have the most normal test levels. That's something to throw out. It's like I think a lot of it is like what your body does with it. Like even my thyroid is on the lower side of normal.
yeah, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that is interesting. I think there is way more to thyroid than just, your free T3. There's more to it than
yeah.
that. Um, I think with Doug Miller and Lane Norton, who are both probably at the top as far as lean body mass among naturals. Obviously, they both get called out for not being naturals all the time. I think they both measured around 1,000 nanograms per deciliter testosterone, but barring them, I would agree. I mean, like Brian Borstein has talked about how his testosterone is actually pretty low. I've seen, I think like again, NFL, you never really know what else is going on there, but I think there was
Yeah.
some report about like average NFL player had like mid 300s to low 400s, something like that. So clearly there is a correlation with testosterone and muscle mass, but obviously there's way more than just that going on.
I mean, I think that's why those like high responders, like people don't believe them. Like when
Hmm.
Bumstead talks about what he's using, these kids that do local shows are pissed off because they're like, I use 4 times that amount and I don't look like you. You're lying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So yeah, yeah. So I guess I something to think about, like with a
yeah,
lot of folks. I've seen guys that bench over 500 pounds and like they're in the 400s.
yeah, yeah, sure. What about you, Steve? I know obviously, you had the past like with the accident and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think for the future?
Yeah, it's interesting when you said it. It's not something I've really thought too much about. But when I take it from the perspective of I'm doing everything I can be to supporting natural testosterone in the best way possible, but I'm still under like the lower end of what's like deemed as like the acceptable reference range. And if I was experiencing symptoms of low testosterone, having been there and having been out of there,
Hmm.
I know the difference and the dramatic effect it can play on just general well-being and everything like that. So if the doctor was advising it and I'd done everything in my power to battle against it, as Alberto was saying, the benefits there and the improvement on general well-being and like life quality are like undeniable. And I can understand why people would take that route. And I think I probably would at
Yeah.
this point when I'm thinking about it. Because like you said, I've been there kind of on the other end. And like it made such a dramatic, like it was the best thing for me at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I feel similarly regarding TRT as one ages. Obviously, there's a lot of excuses that people use to jump on TRT like way too young these days and whatnot. But I don't really have any, I know some people talk about like the noble natties and whatnot. I just don't, that's just not how I think about it. If in the same way that I say, look, like I tested my vitamin D levels, they were less than
Mhm.
20. I'm going to take vitamin D. Like, if that's going to help me, then great. There is a plethora of data showing that low, like actually low levels of testosterone have their own health issues, and obviously, correlation and whatnot. But um, to me, if it was like, hey, this is going to help you feel better and live better. I mean, the muscle mass, honestly, I don't even think some people talk about it making a huge difference. The times I've seen it make a huge difference are one, when you have somebody who was enhanced and now they're still on TRT, it does seem that they can maintain way more muscle now
Yeah.
than going back to, Meadows has talked about this, many people have talked about this. Um, or if you were truly like just bottom of the barrel testosterone and now you get yourself to upper normal, then yes, I've seen that do wonders for people too. But if you're at like 200 and you go up to 6 or 700, I have a number of clients who have taken TRT. The main thing that they say are, I feel way better. My
Yeah.
libido's back. Just life is better. It's not, I mean, one of my clients, I mean, he and I both only talked about this. He honestly doesn't look like he lifts that much. Like when we started, he was on TRT for 2 or 3 years and he just looked like just a normal guy who'd be like an IT guy, just nothing. It's not what some people make it out to be unless they're getting into like the sports TRT world. So I just look at it like any other, medicine. If it's prescribed accurately and all that, it's good for your health. Wonderful. I get what you're saying, Berto, about the maybe there's something to be said for, I don't know, like decaying and whatnot.
Mhm.
I've seen who was it? Who was Precision Nutrition? Is that John Berardi?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he,
think so.
he he
Yeah.
made a post about that one time. He was 40, and I think he was posted about his testosterone levels. And he was saying, one thing I like that as I get older, I maybe am a little subdued, and it's not so much like the bull mentality anymore. Now I'm like a teacher and whatnot. I think from a mentality standpoint, that's great. You take on like a different role in life than maybe your early 20s. But physically, man, if you tell me I can maintain my physicality, fantastic. Same thing with like if there's ever, if Elon Musk wants to give me something to maintain IQ until I'm 90, again, obviously barring side effects, I'll take it. I'm not signing up for just unnecessarily, just becoming decrepit.
No, I agree with that too. Like everything I said aside, like if it was getting to the point where it was just creating major conflict, like not using modern medicine,
Hmm.
like what are you doing, bro?